Assessing exposure and sorting out the what, the when, the how, and the why certain exposures are harmful has a history probably going back to the origin of the species and even before. It's probably an evolutionary trait that is distributed across the entire animal kingdom. But our innate sense of exposure assessment and risk perception is really extremely primitive. It's based on a part of the brain called the amygdala, which is fine-tuned for avoiding mountain lions and bears and poisonous snakes. But rarely do any of us run screaming from a 600-calorie, 60-gram fat Big Mac hamburger. Was able to discern movement towards exposure science as distinct from its related disciplines of statistics, epidemiology, toxicology, and mathematical risk assessment. Exposure assessment, I think, has matured and is still maturing significantly as a scientific field since the 1983 Red Book expressed actually low confidence in exposure assessment's ability to complete complex assessments. 30 years later, exposure assessment is further challenged, I think, to become more integrated in assessing potential adverse outcomes to individuals and populations, and to the planet itself. As a scientific discipline, what is being asked of exposure science from society has never been more important nor more challenging. The constraints that we're living under now in this new era, I think, put us into the frame of mind of spending a lot more time looking at exposure science. And certainly the poster child for all of this is greenhouse gases and the effect on the heating of the planet. And lots of ideas are coming forward about CO2 sequestration, even the idea of throwing particles that are reflective into the upper atmosphere to deflect photons coming from the sun. What kind of exposure science is going to be needed for the effect on humans when that happens? And I think many of these exposure scientists' schemes will challenge us in the 21st century. And certainly, as the Economist magazine noted, although the Earth may have boundaries, thinking about it, how to help it, should not be one of those. And I think we're going to see more and more of that. And I think exposure science is just one of the scientific disciplines that's going to help us make human lives safer and healthier, more productive and lengthier. Not an end in itself. And I think exposure science always has to ask, how can we serve humanity and the planet better? There's a Scottish proverb that says, what may be done at any time will be done at no time. And certainly when it comes to meeting all of these challenges and others that you can think of yourselves, no time should be wasted. We have to get to work. There's lots of work to do. So thank you very much for inviting me to participate in this wonderful conference. I look forward to hearing from you, and happy to be here. Thank you, Bob.